Welcome, welcome, welcome to episode 401 of the show with no name. I'm your humble host, Nick, and in today's episode, we're going to be visiting yet another pioneer farmer cemetery out in the middle of nowhere in Washington State. And this cemetery goes by the name of the Cunningham Cemetery. Let's get into it. So this cemetery was formed in 1899, and as you can see, it still looks pretty nice and pretty well maintained because ancestors of the people buried here and locals in the surrounding community, they come out here and make sure everything's upkept. You can tell that they cut the weeds down, and somebody built a pretty nice fence along the cemetery lines, and there's quite a few interesting people buried here. I've already done a few episodes about this cemetery because there were some stories that stood out to me, but there's still quite a few more people I want to talk about that are actually buried in this cemetery. One story that really got my attention in this cemetery was the story of Calvin Edison Keisler. And he was born on November 12th, 1905 in Washington. And he would pass away on the 15th of July in 1908 at the age of 2.5 in Cunningham, Washington. The Ritzville Times, Thursday, July 23rd, 1908, reads, Keisler son, Hatton, the 3-year-old son of Mr. and Mrs. John Keisler, who reside between Hatton and Cunningham, was fatally scalded on Wednesday afternoon and died Thursday morning from the result of the injuries. Mrs. Keisler was preparing the evening meal and threw a pan of boiling water out the window, not knowing that the little one was playing there. The water struck him squarely on the head and scalded him about the face, chest, and stomach. He was taken to Cunningham for medical treatment, but as Dr. Tolles was absent, they were compelled to trust simple remedies, and the little one died before a physician could be secured. There's also a guy buried here whose name is Americus Hendrick. And he immigrated to Washington from Kentucky, where he was born on March 2nd, 1854. And he would pass away on June 27th, 1899 in Cunningham at the age of 45. And he died from consumption. And sadly, he left behind a wife and 4 children and a number of other relatives living near Hatton at the time of his death. And I couldn't find any information on 2 out of 4 of his children or his wife at all. But I was able to find a picture of him and his wife, which I thought was pretty cool. I always like when I'm able to find pictures of some of the people that are buried here, which can be pretty rare sometimes. And last but not least, I want to talk about Mr. and Mrs. Tice. Susie Tice was born on the 17th of September in 1860 in Indiana, and she would pass away in Washington State on the 12th of February, 1908 at the age of 47. And her husband, Joseph Tice, was born on October 13th, 1837 in Missouri, and he would pass away on April 12th, 1921 at the age of 83 in Adams County, Washington. And together they had at least 7 kids, and they were pioneer farmers out here this way. And while I couldn't find much information about them or any of their children, what really caught my interest about this family, especially seeing that I couldn't find their headstones anywhere in the cemetery, is that I found a picture of Mr. and Mrs. Tice with 5 of their children. And so, I always get excited when I find pictures. And Mr. and Mrs. Tice, they're the only 2 in the family buried out here. All their children kind of spread out and did different things because they're not buried in this cemetery. But I was researching this family because I was like, there's got to be more to this story. There's got to be information about them somewhere. And I found a book that was written by Laura Tice, which has to be a descendant of Mr. and Mrs. Tice in some way or another. And she wrote a book called Sagebrush Homesteads. And I'm excited to order the book and give it a read myself because I'm always interested in learning more about the life of these old pioneer farmers out here in Washington. Well, anyways, that's it for today's episode. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the videos, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you.
Door half open, house still breathing, coffee stains and your shoes by the heater, phone keeps buzzing, face down screaming, but the silence is